Ladies and gentlemen, welcome State Representative Vince Perez.
Good morning, Texas Democrats. Good morning. I'm Vince Perez. I proudly represent House District 77 in El Paso. The place where Texas history begins. Now, since Republicans like to sanitize the history books, I have to begin with a brief lesson. 22 years before the Pilgrims arrived at Plymouth Rock, El Paso was the first part of Texas formally claimed by Spanish colonizers, the first of Texas's 6 flags. The first families that settled around my House district were there for 7 generations before the first Anglo settlers ever reached Texas from the east. So don't ever let jerks like Stephen Miller tell you that you are any less American or that you don't belong here. You belong here just as much as anybody else. Last summer, I was proud to stand with my House colleagues who broke quorum to fight back against Donald Trump and Greg Abbott's redistricting scheme. We couldn't have done it without you in our corner. When they sent police to our homes, when they threatened us and intimidated us, it was the Texas Democrats in this room who had our backs. You supported us, you believed in us, you kept us in the fight on the toughest of days. That is the fighting spirit of Texas Democrats. And it's exactly what we're going to need now more than ever, because the stakes just got higher. 2 months ago, this extremist Supreme Court handed Republicans the victory they have been waiting for. They gutted the 1965 Voting Rights Act, the landmark achievement of the civil rights movement. The very law that ended poll taxes and prevented maps based on skin color, the very shield that a generation bled for at Selma, is now gone. And that decision is already unleashing a new wave of discrimination and political segregation in the United States that will define our generation's struggle for civil rights. Democrats, are we going to be up to that task? Are we going to be bold and fight back? All Americans, regardless of party, should be disgusted by this ruling. Republicans can now legally discriminate against people of color when they draw the lines for Congress and the state legislature, so long as they're doing it out of politics and not based on skin color. It is the tool that every segregationist of that era wished they had. They never have to mention race anymore. They just say, we didn't target them for being black. We targeted them because they were Democrats. Do you buy that? Not for a second. What was a crime in 1965 after the Voting Rights Act is now the Republican strategy in 2026. If Dr. King were alive today, Republicans could draw him out of his district, split up his neighbors into white majority districts to dilute their influence. It's shameful and it's un-American. Republicans are terrified, and they should be. They have become an out-of-touch political class that looks nothing like the people they are supposed to serve. Look around this room, then look at the Capitol. Texas is the most diverse of all former slaveholding states. Hispanic, Black, and Asian Texans make up 60% of the state's population. And yet, when you look at the 29 statewide elected officials from throughout Texas, just 1 is a person of color, only 3%. And she wasn't even elected to the position, she was appointed to that job. 60% of the people 3% of the political power. That's just not statistically possible if it wasn't intentionally designed to be that way. The map they passed last summer is part of that design. Under that map, it only takes 440,000 white Texans to get a member of Congress. But for Hispanics, it takes 1.4 million. For Black Texans, it takes 2 million. It takes 3 Hispanics to equal the same level of representation that is afforded to 1 white Texan, and it takes 5 Black Texans for the same. Is that fair? Does that make you upset? My fellow Democrats, we will fight with the same level of courage as those who sacrificed so much more than 60 years ago during the civil rights era. Because if we don't, we know that the same lines that divided city buses in Montgomery will be used on the political map of Texas, erasing the last Black, Hispanic, and Asian districts we have in Congress and at the state capitol. So Texas Democrats, do you have what it takes to be bold and to fight back? Are we going to organize like never before? The time for being cordial with our Republican colleagues in the Texas House is over. We must learn from the people of Montgomery, Alabama, who understood something simple. You don't pay your bus fare to the bus driver who keeps you in the back. For 381 days, they refused to ride. In similar vein, we cannot lend our strength to our Republican colleagues who used their power to erase us. Not our votes, not our cooperation, and definitely not our silence. Because if there's one truth every generation before us has proven, is that equal representation has never been handed to anyone in this country, not once. It has been taken every single time by people who refused to wait their turn. People who had to be bold and had to fight back. So this November, let's be brave, let's be bold, let's fight back, and let's go take the equal representation they are never going to just hand over to us. Thank you, Texas Democrats. God bless.